How's it going, guys?
Hey.
There's Albert.
I don't know how to center myself. Oh, there.
There you are.
Okay, better, right?
That's my boy.
What's going on, pals?
Look, it's getting long.
Hi, Tim. Oh, yeah.
Hi,
Man,
Al. Look, Al, it's gone.
rock star all the way.
What?
You're a rock star all the way, man. Beautiful.
Now,
you know what? You lost a lot of weight, didn't you?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
180.
Wow. You're 180?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm 182 as well.
So this morning I weighed myself. My best weight since I had cancer in 2003 was 179.
Wow.
Today, a couple weeks ago, I hit 180.2, and then I've been fluctuating between that and 183. Had nothing yesterday. I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to break 180 today, and I was at 180.1.
Is this because of the operation?
Well, partly because of the operation, and also because I'm really trying to show a little discipline to keep the weight off of my new leg. The new knee.
Well, I know you can't run at all, but I've been jogging on the beach. I'm in Miami. I've been doing like between 3 and 4 miles every day. I haven't dropped 1 pound.
Might as well turn this on, Tim.
Not 1 pound, and I'm on a super diet, like no carbs at all, and I can't figure it out. And then I kind of did a lot of reading and everything, and there's 2 types of fat: subcutaneous, which is the fat you can grab. And then the visceral fat, which is behind the organs, that accumulates. It's really hard.
I have a lot of that.
And that's what I have. I have like a hard stomach. There's no fat, but it's hard and it protrudes a little bit. So that fat is it's in there behind the organs, really hard to get rid of. And so I'm thinking of doing this like peptide stuff that they're talking about now. You heard about peptides?
Nope. Tim?
I know. Just go put in Google peptides. It's an amazing amount of stuff that comes up to get rid of visceral fat.
Okay.
And it's not dangerous. But
I'm going to make a note of peptides because I would love to lose some of that visceral fat.
Yeah, check out it's the visceral fat for guys like us at our age. And it's, I said, man, I can't do much more than what I'm doing. And you see very little results. Unless, of course, you have a major operation or a minor operation.
No, we don't want that. You don't need no operation.
Not yet.
So, what's in your mind? What do you want to talk about? Otherwise, I'll lead.
You lead. You always should lead.
Okay, so we're putting this out not solely because of the book, but partly because of the book. The book's a good anchor to talk to people who are in the book or know about the book, and you happen to be in both cases, so that's good. And this isn't so much to talk about my career or your career, but to talk about us. I think that's the angle. I mean, I can ask you all day long, when did you get your first guitar? All your fans know that. How many hours a day do you rehearse? None. Unless I'm on the road.
No. I always practice before I go to bed.
Do you really?
Yeah.
10 minutes?
Sometimes.
Not even?
Sometimes 10. Depends it depends when the sleeping pills kick in,
So if I was to tell an audience that if they practice for 5 to 10 minutes every night before bed, they'd sound like you in a year? No.
Never gonna happen.
No.
So, but Al, can you talk about? Because I want to know, as a very mediocre guitar player, how does somebody get as good as you? Like, was it the 10,000 hour rule? And what got you there?
Jeez.
That's a good question.
It started with my mom and dad downstairs screaming like all hell, like Italian American families, mom and dads do. And so all that anxiety, it resulted in my aggressive approach to the instrument, but also, more seriously, growing up in the 60s, man, it was so inspiring. Oh my God. I grew up outside of New York City, And my sister was 7 years older, which is her birthday today. Happy birthday to
Oh,
her.
Happy
And
birthday,
she
sis.
came home with Meet the Beatles, and then that was it. I had to have a guitar, and it was the Ventures after that, and all the other kind of surf music, and then the Beach Boys, and everything that came out in the '60s. And the 9 out of 10 bands were happening, and it was a whole new thing. And then I was just lucky to get, when I was 9, I guess, I got the local music store had a teacher that was assigned to me, and he was like an old school jazz guy. So I got the best of both worlds, and it helped develop everything. And it wasn't until I was in high school, and I was like this kind of like nobody could figure me out because I was playing scales instead of rock riffs and everything. But I had an electric sound. But it wasn't until I was, I had like a neighborhood band and everything that I got kicked out. I got kicked out of this band, and
are you holding
I'm
your
trying to
phone?
find the right position because I'm doing
You,
this
you you
handheld.
need you need to lean it up against your cocktail.
The cocktail.
Actually, I could use one too. Do
How
you
am I
have
going
one?
to do this? Where I got to find a spot. So anyway, I was in this little neighborhood band, and they said we're going to break up the band, and then the next day, they reformed with another guitar player. So
They broke it up, all right.
the the experience from that, which resulted in immense pain, uh, I just said, okay, I'm going to show these guys. I'm gonna take the whole summer and I'm gonna practice my ass off, but I'm gonna show these guys. I'm
That'll
definitely
do it.
going to do something that's gonna freak them out. Do you know that these childhood friends, I have not seen one of them
Since
since. Not
Are you
even like
serious?
congratulations, Al,
so,
or
when you got
any.
bounced out of the band, what were you, 16?
Yeah, I would say about 16 exactly. So it was 19. I got the gig with Chick. The
That's
late
crazy.
Chick. So it was that I needed to get kicked in the pants that hard.
So let me ask you something. On a one, if you're a 10 now, which you are,
Yep.
and
11. Let's
you're
call him
also a
11.
good guitar player, buddy. Hey now, uh, so he's good looking and he can play.
And
You're
she's better looking.
Oh God, is she cute? Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm really good. I don't want to interrupt, so.
That's all right. Love your pose. Would you stand there and maybe hold the phone for Al so he's not jiggling?
I don't know what to do with the phone. Oh,
When I do interviews with Al Di Meola, I drink Willie Nelson's Whiskey River. Get it at your local store.
nice.
It's one of the last bottles on earth.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I was curious. If you're at 10 now, and if you were at 10 when Chick hired you at 19, what were you at 16 when you got bounced out of the band? Real, not. What were you then? Were you a
I don't.
5?
I don't know. Maybe 5, 6. I don't know.
Well, you must have sucked if some shit band blew you out.
No, you know why? It's like
Or was it your attitude?
no, not at all the attitude. I just think that the guys that played in those rock bands, in high school, let's say, they emulated guys like Garcia or Clapton or Hendrix or whatever it might be. And I was brought up, playing scales, but with a rock sound. So I was not really fitting in, kind of, because it
Yeah.
wasn't. But
So you didn't belong, but it hurt your feelings that you got bounced out just the same.
of course. But sometimes it's good to have that to get kick you into high gear, and just to say, okay, I'm gonna show these MFers.
So what year was that when you were 19 with Chick?
It was exactly what year was that? 1974.
So
Same year that you were 19.
So you're right, and so in '74, I did my first show.
Great.
Perfect. I did my first show in '74, and then we met. I want to say it was '78.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it was.
At Dooley's.
Dooley's.
Nice.
That was our first show together. And it's funny though that, you know, when you're new at something or you're going to get good at something or you get serious about it and you make the right moves and you get some a little bit of luck along the way, it takes a few years, you know, for stuff to happen. And you have to be inspired, whether it's from something like as traumatic as being rejected, but that's what it's all about. I mean, in my case, I was rejected for years from buying good talent because they didn't know me. It wasn't because I wasn't any good at it, but the fact that they didn't know me suggested that I wasn't good at it because I had no experience, which is different. You can strap on a guitar in 10 seconds. Somebody can say, this guy can play or he's a stiff.
Right.
You know, I mean, any good musician knows that in a moment, but in concert world, you're using your tongue and you're being as smart as you
all the
can
other
on your
guys were
feet.
playing. They were all playing rock riffs, riffs, and all of these guys, and I love them all, by the way. All of those major rock names, if you watch their left hand, they're primarily using their first and third finger, never the pinky. So
No way.
I'm talking about the hand on the neck.
Yeah.
They never use the pinky, ever.
You do.
Yeah, because I'm more of a scalular player, right? I was brought up to play that way, so involving all fingers, second but rock riffs primarily are first and third finger, pentatonic guys, so it was kind of a thing that I didn't fit, but became perfect actually for the whole, experience with Chick, because I also could read music and play that kind of music that was more advanced.
Did he write out all the music?
Yeah.
For you
Yeah.
guys?
How about this?
I could borrow you an acoustic.
Oh, I know what I did with it. I know what I did with it. So the other, because the whole thing with Chick passing, I just happened to go through my stuff. I'm in Florida, and for some reason I have some of the charts here. This is the original chart.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
This is the original chart. This was typical, right?
Hey Al, you wanna pick up maybe 50 to 100 grand?
Yeah.
You know what you do?
What?
You make a really beautiful tribute. Copy those things on beautiful parchment paper. Get the other two guys to sign them if you want, or just do it yourself.
I'll do it myself.
I mean, I think people would pay $250 to $500 for a copy of that.
Like a lithograph?
Like a lithograph.
Yeah.
But you guys should be duplicating those on high quality paper and signing them in a really nice pen.
Exactly what I said to Stephanie is to take the more famous pieces and even some of this. How about Senor Mouse?
Oh my gosh. Look at that.
Do you know Senor Mouse, Tim?
I'm just looking at the music. I don't know the song, but that's not easy stuff to play.
That's one of his most famous songs.
Yeah.
Al, did you learn to read music?
Another one.
Which one's that?
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, Al.
So they're multi-pages.
You don't need all those, do you?
I have a lot of my charts here too.
Al,
telling Steph, we got to get lithographed, nicely framed. We were looking at it last night. Some rectangle frames, really nicely done. Real classy.
Is like, did he score those like in pencil?
Yeah, that's the way I do it.
Yeah. So
I'll show you what I'm doing.
You know what I would do though, as a collector. What I would do if I were you is I would have those really super nice copies made.
Yeah.
And get one for yourself and get it framed and put that in the dark and never take it out again. Unless you're putting it in unless you're putting it in a suitcase and bringing it to Arizona as a gift for your buddy Danny.
As I always do.
As you always do. Tim, I'm standing on stage with Al. Chick's there, Stanley's there. They just finished sound check, and I walk up, and we're smirking because they sounded like gods, right? This is the last time Return to Forever came to town. Cut it out. The Romantic Warrior.
This is the original.
Oh,
are you serious?
In other words, I didn't give it back.
Nice move. And guess what? he don't care anymore either.
Not too much.
That's, oh my gosh, look at that.
Shouldn't that be like an attribute here in your West Coast office?
Well,
I'm working everything I got here, bro.
Let's first work on that money idea you had.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll help you with that. I'll command that if you want.
Same thing I do for my charts. You see, I sit with a pencil and I chart everything out. And I got a million charts.
So let me ask you something. If you write a melody,
yeah,
right? I imagine that's where you start. You get something going.
No. Remember this. Never. It's impossible for almost anybody to start with a melody.
What do you start with?
The harmony. Because what good is the melody if
it goes nowhere?
What is it against?
You got nowhere to go.
I mean, you can whistle a melody.
All right.
What good is it? It has to sit against them. So I always come up with the harmony first, and you can sing against the harmony, or if the harmony is cool and you arpeggiate the harmony, that's the main part. That's the meat. That's the foundation. The melody is the icing on the cake.
Yeah. Okay. So when you get that harmony,
right,
prior to doing anything else in the song, I got a good idea for a song here, and I know exactly where I'm going to go next. Do you write it right then?
Yeah.
Right then.
I write it right then.
But you never write it. You never write it first, right, and then play it. You got to create it first.
What I do is I write, like, for instance, here I'm going to show you. I don't know if you can see this very well.
Yeah, we can see it real well.
Okay, yep. So you see this two staves, right? 2, 2, and 2. So the bottom stave is my arpeggiated harmony. The top line is the melody with also a melody harmony, but it goes against the bottom stave. And the same thing here. The bottom stave is my harmony. The top line is my melody. Once you have your harmony and your melody, then you can put a bass part on it, and transfer it to another score. So I never do more than 3 lines. Harmony is the first, top, melody, and a lot of them I have a bass part. But the reason why I did this was the bass is included in the harmony, so I didn't need to do a separate stave.
Got it.
So it's a lot of work. It's like speaking another language.
Oh, you are so right. I mean, relating to the stories that I wrote in my book, there's a Frank Zappa thing in there, and he invited me, based on my asking him, to come to L.A. to Ike Turner's studio when they're recording Overnight Sensation when I was 19.
Wow.
It was actually I was 18. He played at the Celebrity Theater, and I met Ruth Underwood and Ian Underwood, and I think I was doing mushrooms, and and I got backstage, and I met Ruth, who was fabulous. What a great musician, a beautiful woman,
and I got to play with her once.
Oh, how she? I mean, talk about some gonads.
Real classical music.
Oh, but I mean, here's Frank Zappa introducing her on stage. And now on xylophone, Ruth, smelling good between the legs, Underwood. I mean, she could handle men. She could handle guys. That kind of crap did not faze her. It was just Frank being Frank, and she took it that way. Today, he'd be getting sued for it. Oh, you harassed me. Harass this. You're in my band. You're getting shit just like the rest of the band. So anyway,
very touchy era.
She introduced me to Frank. Yeah, this is Cisco, and he's a great singer. He wants to audition for us. I haven't sung a lick for her. So Frank goes, "Come on over next week or week, whatever it was. It was late, not far after that. I go over there. Frank comes out of the booth wearing his SG Standard. He was playing. Danny's here. Cisco's here. That's what they call me. Cisco's here. He comes out into the lobby. Hey, come on, let's do it. Puts his arm around me. He's walking me through the door. As we're going through the door, what's the question, Al? Can you read music? Oh, no. You can read music.
Right.
God.
And I looked at him and I went, no. He turns me around. He goes, listen, Pony. That was my other name. Listen, Pony, you could be the greatest singer on earth, but you haven't been here with me in the studio with these schmucks for the last 10 years. And these guys complain because I redo their parts sometimes because they play them wrong. And then they think they played it and go, God, don't I sound great? I don't even tell them that I redid it because then they get crazy about that. So, he goes, I want my records to sound a certain way. And none of them read. None of them. So I'm constantly have to explain. I have to show them the whole song when they could just read it. And they're so undisciplined. They're so high. Whatever they're doing, they won't
Well,
do
not
it.
Ruth. That's for sure.
Huh?
I mean, Ruth was phenomenal reader. George Duke.
I think he was referring to the
Yeah,
old
earlier.
core, of the mothers. Ian Underwood could, of course, read.
Yeah, the earlier mothers, they didn't read at
They
all.
were just a street band,
Yeah.
And that cost me. He goes, when you learn how to
Let
read,
me tell you from my
you call me
experience.
up. Here's my number, and you'll come and get an audition. I'll bet you'll be great.
When I get a guy that doesn't read
Then I
very
became
well,
a
or doesn't
promoter.
read at all, the rehearsals are torturous.
Yeah.
Because it takes 10 times longer. And really, if you have long compositions like I'm known for having, or Frank's was known for having, it's how you gonna remember everything? You got to read. That's why I got the gig with RTF, because I had the ability to read in the whole scale of the guitar. Otherwise, Chick would have lost his patience. I would have lost the gig. For sure.
Where did you learn to read?
Well, I learned to read from the age of 9 because I had this jazz teacher. I didn't want a jazz teacher. That was the guy that was assigned to me. And so he was teaching me all the different chord formations and substitutions and scales. And I watched him play, and it was like super inspiring. So I wanted to be like him, but I really liked the Byrds and the Beatles and the Beach Boys. So I was getting the best of both worlds. Plus, he loved the Beatles too, because who wouldn't love the Beatles? If you get
Sure.
pieces like Here, There, and Everywhere, Yesterday, Michelle. So he was writing that stuff out, as well as I was learning some of the jazz, basis.
Well, we're all grateful that you had a jazz teacher when you were 9 years old, because we wouldn't have your music if it were not for that.
Yeah, and Bob, his name was Bob Islanian, and we were friends till the very end. He died from COVID last year, unfortunately.
Oh my God. Oh,
Yes.
That's awful.
And
That's awful.
I'm very good friends with his brother, who's an attorney. And it's very, very sad, but I got to say goodbye to him before he went in the hospital for something else, but the COVID got him. A nurse came in, and a bunch of people got COVID. He got it too, and that was it. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we're really hoping we get to.
I got both
to the other
vaccines,
side of
by
this.
the way.
Oh, good for you.
Good for you.
I'm getting my second one week after next.
Yeah, and the second one, you should be fine, because
Did you get Pfizer or Moderna?
I got Moderna, and I find that I had no episodes of anything, no sweating, no pain at all, zero on both of them. Now, a lot of people that got it, and let's say they're in their 30s or 40s because maybe they were a teacher or they work at a hospital, they all had serious side effects on the second one. So the younger you are, the more effect you may have from the second one. The older you are, the less effect.
Interesting.
How do you like that?
That's
interesting.
Said it
on TV, and then all the people I've met also, basically said the same thing.
So while we're on the subject of the Beatles, you recorded at Abbey Road,
right?
So how did that come about? Other than the fact that you're a massive Beatles fan,
I was on tour in Europe in the summer of that year, which I guess now is about 9 years ago, 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And is it already that many years? Wow.
Oh, no, 2010?
Maybe 8 years. I wish I had a copy here. Anyway, I was sitting in my hotel room in Prague at the Mandarin Oriental, and a block away was this big wall called the John Lennon Wall. It's enormous. It's beautiful.
I've been there. I know the wall.
So
It's great.
Blockade,
It's
York,
beautiful.
Mandarin Oriental. So I had a few days off, and maybe 3 or 4 days off. The band went home because they all live in various countries within Europe. I was by myself. I was going through a divorce. I was pretty miserable, and I said, "What am I going to do? Other than go crazy in my room?" So I thought of like finding a studio and beginning this project that I had in the back of my mind. But I didn't know where to go. I was in Prague, so I said, where am I going to find a studio here? I knew of a couple in Germany, and then it just dawned on me in the room. I said, what? I wonder what Abbey Road is. Abbey Road still around? So I called a friend, a guitar player friend in London, and I asked him if he knew anything about Abbey Road. He said, "Yeah, they're still operating. They're doing mostly soundtracks and commercials. But if you want, I'll give them a ring and see what they have." I said, "Oh man, that would be like a kid going to Disney World for the first time." So,
Absolutely.
so he calls back. He goes, "Al, they have 1 day open." I said, "Grab it. Just grab it. I'm coming to London." So I called my daughter, my oldest daughter, Oriana, and I called one of my good friends to act as, part producer on it. And I flew them over. And one day opened up 2 other days. So I had 3 days. I recorded 3 songs, and I felt like exactly that, like that thrill that we don't have as at this age anymore. We don't have that same thrill. We've been through it all. We're jaded, but that thrill that a kid has going to Disney World for the first time, I was like, wow. I was like that at Abbey Road. It was that amazing. The whole time I was there, I was in heaven. So it
That's
really
amazing.
took my attention off of the divorce. Uh, the sound was beyond anything I've ever heard. So I was really inspired. So I said to myself, after 3 songs, I have to finish it in New York. It's London was out of control, expensive. Abbey Road was beyond anything, soundtracks can afford it, but there's no artists recording records there anymore.
But by the way, just to interject, 3 days at Abbey Road. What was the tab?
It was outrageous. I don't remember because here's what happened. I
You
wound up
blocked it out of your mind. It
I
was that
wound up
high.
having to
You can't
record
count that high.
No, I went to the best studio in New York. Also, I tried recording the rest of my studio, and it wasn't measuring up the sound, right? So I said I set the bar so high at Abbey Road. So I said, okay, before I go back to Abbey Road, I better take the time to arrange the rest of the pieces, like Penny Lane and I Am the Walrus and all those other pieces. So I'm going to do something I've never done before because I was going through a divorce, so I wanted to get away. So I rented a house in a place I've always wanted to go, the Hamptons, right? And
Yeah.
this right before Labor Day, like nothing available, everything way expensive, but not available anyway, except for this little ad at the bottom of the paper for this no nothing house. It was actually pretty good, but it wasn't one of the expensive ones. And the guy says, "I don't normally rent out a house, but you sound like a nice guy." He said, "But I got to tell you, uh, oh, my little girl's here. Hello.
Where is
Want to
she?
say hi to Dan?
Oh.
No?
Hi, Ava.
No, stop. This
Where's the baby girl?
Anyway,
Oh, she knows me. Hi.
your book.
okay.
Would you mind drawing a picture of Daddy for me and giving it to me
Oh,
at the
there's a
end of the
lot of, yeah,
broadcast?
yeah. Here's our latest one of Daddy. Anyway,
oh, Al, you're such a kidder.
I wish I came out like that, but anyway. Anyway,
He's
so
awfully
listen,
old,
listen
isn't
to
he?
this. So I rent this house. The guy goes, let me finish though. So the guy goes, you got to be kind of cool. I don't normally rent my house, but you sound like a nice guy. He didn't know who it was. So he goes, because your next door neighbor is kind of a famous rock guy. I said, "What? Really?" I said, "Well," and I'm thinking John Bon Jovi. I'm thinking
Right.
Billy Joel,
maybe Billy Joel. That would be cool. I know Bill.
Roger.
Well, I didn't know Roger was out there. So when he said Paul McCartney, a few tears came down because it was like, this is what I've always wanted to meet Paul. I mean that, and here I am in the middle of a Beatle tribute album at Abbey Road, and I'm going out there to arrange those songs, and he's right next door. That can't be.
Did you
This
go
is
knock?
winning the lottery.
Did you knock?
I didn't have to. When I I put in the GPS. I pulled up. As I'm pulling up, he's standing in the driveway right next to my driveway. So the entrance, just like this. So he's in his driveway right at the end with his wife and some friends, probably saying goodbye. They were over the house or whatever. And I pull up like right next to him to go into my driveway. I go, this is too effing much. So that day, I did get to meet, I did get to introduce myself in the whole 9 yards. I'm not sure if he got who I was or whatever, but he's all.
Did you tell him what you're doing?
I told him what I was doing and everything. I think he was.
Did you ask him to come over?
I didn't ask him. No.
Why? Balls, buddy, balls.
Hey, Paul, come over to the stranger guy's house.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, stranger guy. Stranger guy's a 10. Okay, let me remind you, you're a 10.
Yeah,
and if
true.
stranger guy, it's even better if he doesn't know who you are. And you go,
Danny, dude,
if you don't know my name, you must know Chick Corea. You must know Return to Forever. And I'm doing this album. You got to come and hear it.
I mentioned Barry Marshall, and I mentioned the fact that, he started in the business with me, John, and Paco, and I told him all about. But I became this little boy again.
So you were afraid.
I was a little kid again. it was like that. I wasn't Al Di Meola, the adult. I was like this little boy in awe.
The 9-year-old.
And he was very nice, by the way.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, nobody in the car with him, and he shook my hand, and he stopped. We were talking for a while, and we talked a couple other times, but I wish I had said, Paul, I'm this guy. Remember, Al Di Meola. But it's better if somebody's with them and says, Paul, that's how the guitar. Then it's
but
like,
Al,
thank God,
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of being like in Monaco, and I see a bunch of really nice shirts, and I go, I'll come back for those later. And you're there 4 days, and you never get back there.
Yeah,
and buy that.
I do.
So
I went back the next year.
But I mean but he wasn't there.
He was there.
No.
So now.
Did you give him a copy of the album?
No. Steph did.
Oh, that's great.
Steph.
Did he listen?
My wife was then my girlfriend, right? So I'm on the patio and I'm watching Paul go in and out of the driveway with he had a dark green Ford Bronco, and he also alternated between an old brown Rolls Royce. So I just saw several times going in and out. And Steph goes, Al, here's what you're going to do. You're going to write him a letter. You're going to write him a note. Note letter, 2 pages, whatever. Stick it in the CD. Now we got the CD finished. Stick it in the CD. I'm going to take it next door. I said, why? You're going to go, why? You're going to go, why? You're going to knock on the door? He's pulling in the driveway right now. Give me the CD. So, I already did the letter and everything. And she runs over there, and I'm looking at this girl going, I'm going to marry this girl.
Oh, that's what did
the best.
That was so cool. I couldn't have done that myself. I would have been too nervous, I'm a big fan,
I'm really surprised at you. You're such a ballsy guy.
I can be ballsy, but that, there's a couple people. It could be De Niro, it could be Paul McCartney, but the night before, you see, she wasn't the big Beatles fan. My wife was the big Stones fan.
I hope she told Paul that.
Her. The night before was her birthday. We were in Manhattan, and I have a friend working in the studio. Said, Keith wants to meet you, Al. I said, oh my God, this could be a great surprise for Steph. So we go in the studio. She has no idea where we're going, who's in there. And there's Keith, the big smile. He had a glass of vodka in his hand, and she nearly fainted.
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
And the first time I'm meeting Keith, and I'm like, wow, this is fucking great. Great. Even, friendly, arms around us, pictures. And in the actual record room, he had every one of his guitars.
Oh.
So,
oh my God,
he showed me all the guitars. Like this guitar, I used a Midnight Rambler. Here's my honky tonk guitar, the honky tonk Telly. And I said, "Oh, can I? Yeah, go ahead." Now I'm
Are you
playing that. And I'm
Did you play with him?
I actually got a picture. No. I didn't play with him. That would have been cool, but just to meet him was, and then the
Hey
next day
Al,
call.
the next time you're around somebody that kind of spooks you, would you call me? Because
I will.
because you're gonna put an earphone and we're gonna be able to communicate, and I'm gonna tell you what to do next.
Well, I still wasn't sure if he kind of got it was me. So my engineer was working in a studio. This is well after that, and Paul popped his head in. He said, "Hey, what music are you working on?" He goes, "I'm working on Aldi Mule's new record." He goes, "Aldi Mule? Oh, I know Aldi Mule. Of course. Oh yeah." But he didn't relate it back to the house, but he totally is aware of who I am.
Oh,
I
that's awesome.
I
And they said, "What? He knows I shit."
yeah, Al, and look, you're not hurting for recognition or anything like that. It's a great story, and it's one you should cherish. I wish I could help you redo it. I mean, like if this was a movie we were doing right now,
I have a better
I would
one.
do the Wayne's World, and I would redo that scene for you.
You want
Huh?
to talk about shy at 19? So I go in the studio with Chick. Who's in the next room?
I'm afraid.
John.
Who?
John.
No.
Lennon.
John.
You didn't meet him.
And I watched him record.
You didn't walk in.
The door opened. He's right there, right at the control booth. Right, it's at the record plant in New York City, 43rd Street. He opens the door several times. I'm in the hallway, so I'm waiting for that door to open. He's right there. And I went, holy shit. And in between takes, I would see him maybe 10, 20 times. And of course, I really did not have the balls to go in there. It's like I was lucky to be even with Chick at that time. But 19 is like, am I in a dream or something? But I remember playing in the game room with Julian, ping pong, like all the time.
That's
And then
amazing.
years later, I met him.
And you're sitting there going, "Hey, kid,
he was 10 years old at the time.
Tell your dad I'm going to smoke his guitar player. Let me in there."
Right.
That's what I would have done.
It would have been a different story now. I mean, I would definitely have, introduced myself or somebody. And by the way, Jimmy Iovine,
Mr. Multi-Billion, yeah.
He was the guy that ran off to get his coffee.
That's right. Yeah.
He had to do some for the 2 points he earned on that record.
Yeah, he was the T-boy, as they call it. So
yeah, he was like the assistant engineer, right?
He was even less than that. He was the guy that was the assistant to the assistant, and he would go out and get us coffee and tea. And
That's
I will
awesome.
never forget it.
All Access with Danny Zalesko and Tim Richards.
That's amazing.
Years later, I met him.
And you're sitting there going, "Hey, kid,
he was 10 years old at the time.
Tell your dad I'm going to smoke his guitar player. Let me in there."
Right.
That's what I would have done.
It would have been a different story now. I mean, I would definitely have, introduced myself or somebody. And by the way, Jimmy Iovine,
Mr. Multi-Billion, yeah.
He was the guy that ran off to get us coffee.
That's right. Yeah.
He had to do some for the 2 points he earned on that record.
Yeah, he was the T-boy, as they call it. So
yeah, he was like the assistant engineer, right?
He was even less than that. He was the guy that was the assistant to the assistant, and he would go out and get us coffee and tea. And
That's
I will
awesome.
never forget it.
Hey, Al, look.
Hey, baby.
Hey, Les. Is that Les?
Good to see you. It is.
How you doing, babe?
Try to get in the camera.
Yeah, it's amazing, Al. With you were able to get that great training at an age before we did all the bad things we did to ourselves as youths, and at 9 years old, you got a clear playing field in your mind. You haven't screwed it up too badly yet, hopefully, or nobody's beaten on you and nobody's abused you, and you get to be a normal kid like a lot of people, and you get put into this situation where somebody's going to teach you this, and you either get it or you don't. I remember in 5th grade, they tried to teach me how to read music, and I rejected it. It just didn't make sense to me. I couldn't follow it. I think it was the ADD or whatever it is I have. but I couldn't do it. And I wish to hell for many reasons that I had. However, what replaced that part in my brain was my ability of no shame to go up to anybody I wanted to talk to about anything ever.
Right.
And that's where, you know, the whole thing came in at the beginning of my life, where I met all these baseball players and football players and hockey players. And my brother and I would be writing letters to them. We'd arrange meetings. They'd give us free tickets. They'd have us over to the hotel. They had nothing to do. They're in their hotel rooms. It's like, I got free dinners off of Phil Necro and Raymond Berry and Don Shinnick. I mean, these from every football team and every baseball team. I got, you know, in some hockey teams, I had the Boston Bruins wrapped up. Bobby Orr, Joe Watson, great players, Johnny Busick. And I got to go on the team bus when I was 12 from the hotel to the hockey game.
Whoa.
You know, I mean, that kind of stuff. And it came from just like being regular with these guys and not smushing all over them and being an idiot. When you do meet them, go, oh, I can't believe I'm meeting you. You know,
Yeah.
Instead it was like, hey, great catch in the third period or third quarter last week, buddy. You know, I swear to God, when I was writing the book, oh, thank you, dear. I can't wait. Cheers. Oh, that's very good. What does it say? Per my previous email, asshole.
What is that? What's that?
Is that Al? Is he a little blurry to you?
Yeah.
Am I blurry to you?
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
You know. Anyway,
When
where
I
was
come
I?
out there, that's the way it appears. You know, after we have a little fun.
Well, as we, you know, we're going to have to do a separate book about all that. You know, you're you know, we could write a brilliant movie. I mean, just based on past experience.
That's what my conference call before was. It was about doing a documentary.
You know, it's these Scorpio guys. They're crazy.
Great.
So
So
yeah,
you
I was an advocate, you know, for baseball too. Trading cards like mad. I still
Oh
have
God,
them all. I have them all.
you know,
I
do you still have them?
Mantle's autographed to me.
Did you keep it?
Yeah.
Did you keep them?
Yeah, all of them.
You still got them all?
Yeah, I got about 10 Mantle cards in mint condition.
That's insane.
You know, when you come over, we never do this stuff when you're here, but I didn't know you're a card guy. When you come over, remind me or I'll remember.
Yeah.
And I got a ton of stuff I can show you.
I've got all my cards and they're in great condition. And I feel like I don't ever want to lose them, but they're actually going up in value now.
Well, they are. And the thing that you should probably do, especially on those ones that got the sharp corners.
Yeah.
Those are the ones. I mean, you know that's how they grade them that way, right?
Well, I thought they all had sharp corners, no?
Well, they started out as sharp corners, but then we mess them up by shoving them into our pockets and pulling them out.
Yeah,
and when you curl the corners, you destroy the value of the card.
Oh, I know it.
So a Sandy Koufax.
I had them in a shoebox here, an old shoebox.
No, those were great, but it was the putting in and taking out that messes it up.
I know.
So I've got an amazing collection. It's very fascinating, but I'm going to have a guy come over here. I just talked to a guy who's with Heritage who lives down the street from here, and he loves coming to my shows, and he's a good friend.
Still, Mantle cards like one of the.
Totally.
So what's it worth now between 61 and 64, 65?
If they're pristine, they can be in the thousands.
Oh, so they really went up.
Oh yeah.
I checked a few years
ago. Hey, how about this? A perfect 1952 Mantle just sold for the highest.
Yeah, but
number.
I don't have 52. I mean, I have 60.
But this was I've never seen it go this high. 5.2 mil.
Yeah, I know. I read that.
One card.
Yeah.
You know, and before that it was a Hannes Wagner from 1906. Well, that's 100-something years old. That's different.
Yeah.
1952. I mean, we were getting ready to get born.
We're 60s guys. You know, so I got a lot of those.
Absolutely.
So Al, are you putting together a documentary?
Yeah, I'm working on an autobiography. I'm like almost half done. And then the documentary is we're in the stage of planning now. We have all these people involved, and I just can't believe they want to do one. But what the hell?
What the hell?
That's exciting. That
We're
music
watching
documentaries are so popular right now.
super popular. Look, we watch whatever documentary we watch. It's enjoyable. It seems.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Everybody's got a lifelong story, and everybody's story seems to be interesting. And the other night, she puts on this old lady from Fort Lee, New Jersey, telling her story. I said, Steph, let's give it the 12-minute rule. If it's not
Sure.
exciting, if it's 12 minutes, man, it was like phenomenal. And it was just like a normal, regular. It reminded me of my mother or Danny's mom. Same type of mom. Italian American in that sense, in this state, and she goes on and on about her family, and it reminded me of my mother, right? But her dream was to meet Sophia Loren. So in the end of the documentary, her daughter makes it happen. She brings it together. And it was just like,
That's awesome.
Like, if she can make a documentary, I can make a documentary.
You absolutely should make a documentary.
Yeah.
You absolutely should. And that McCartney story in the Hamptons has to be in the documentary. And personally, by the way, Danny, I just got to say, I love the going back to your childhood and having a boy moment. I think that's the coolest. I mean, yes, he could have, gone and play whatever, but I think it's awesome that you gave him that respect and that you had. I mean, that feeling, right, of going back to your childhood. How amazing was that?
Well, Tim,
it's unbelievable.
Wait a minute. I appreciate what you're saying here, except for here's the thing. Let's go back to Monaco. The bottom line is you only get so many chances like this. I mean, even when you're Al Di Meola, even when you're Tim Richards, even when you're Danny Zelisko, we've had great moments throughout our lives, some very wonderful things that I wouldn't trade for anything. And everybody's different. I mean, you know who I was afraid to meet? Brian Ferry.
Okay.
I think Brian Ferry is one of the most elegant, creative, most excellent modern singers of all time. And I did several shows with him, and I loved Roxy music. And I didn't meet him for real until, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, 7 years ago. We did a show in Vegas. And I met him before the show, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing after the show?" And he goes, "Want to get Randy?" And I'm going, "Oh, shit, he's gay." No, he's not gay. This guy is with the most beautiful women in the world, right? But he's just being a wise guy. And it's just like out of the box, he's acting like one of you guys, right?
That's awesome.
He goes, "I'd love to have dinner." No, I got no plans. I go, "You're Brian Ferry. You got no plans after a show in Las Vegas?" He goes, "Go figure." We spent 2.5 hours after the show, me and him and Billy, my partner up there. The manager fucked off. He just left. And
how was the sunrise?
Well, we didn't do. We got very drunk. We were drinking beautiful wine all night, all comp from the 9 up there at the Palms. But and I told him. He goes, "I've seen you before, right? We've met." And I go, "Yeah." He goes, I go, why didn't we do this before? He goes, "Yeah, I mean, I would have enjoyed knowing you 20 years ago. And we could have been friends all this time, right?" Of course, I haven't heard from him since, so let's, But he's what a beautiful guy. The whole McCartney thing, the whole George. I never met John, but I got to be George's dressing room attendant on his tour in 1974. Right? He did the Dark Horse tour. It was in Tucson.
Yeah.
And George, so my job was to decorate his dressing room. So I'm 19. I'm a dressing room decorator now. And they gave me all the stuff, and I made his room look dynamite. He said it was the best it's ever looked. And he goes, "No, it is. I mean, you did everything just right." And I had perfect joints rolled for him. you know, and I got some nice pictures they gave me to put and decorate in the tapestries. And he goes, listen, he goes, my voice is killing me. And it was already reported, you know, on that tour, he had a problem because he was never a big live singer. I mean, he sang backups.
Right.
And the last time he sang live was 1966. Right. So now it's 8 years later, even though he's still very young and in very good shape. And he wasn't a big druggie or anything like Paul and John were. Ringo was too, I guess. But George managed to hide a lot of that. But
they all smoked a lot, right?
They all smoked.
Well, I was lucky to meet George Martin, Sir George Martin.
Boy, would he have been great? Would he have been great for you on that Abbey Road recording?
It would have happened, and unfortunately, his hearing started to go. But he presented me on my birthday with the Lifetime Achievement Award at the BBC. So
get out.
Yeah, he presented me with a Lifetime Achievement Award.
Did he know what that meant to you?
Man,
did you tell him?
I told him backstage that I was just completely in awe of.
Why him? Why did he do it?
The BBC just appointed him to do it. But when he walked into the building, I was just like, I was in the hallway going somewhere else. And he saw me as he walked up the steps coming from the street. And he goes, Aldi Meola. And I go, this fucking guy knows who I am. You know, I don't assume that that somebody like that knows who I am. And so I go, oh my God, George Martin, you know, but I knew he was coming to give me the award. So we sat down after and we talked a little bit about, you know, the effect the Beatles had on, you know, my early development and everything like that. And he goes, it was pretty good stuff. I mean, you know, it wasn't pretty good. He goes, it wasn't of the level of like, you know, Rodgers and Hart, and those, you know, those great old standards. And I said, oh, what? I said, what? Sure.
Wait a minute. What year was this?
This is like 2008.
Oh, so, well, do you know why he's saying that? Do you know why he's saying that? He did a collection of Rodgers and Hammerstein a couple of years before, and he wasn't involved with the Beatles anymore, getting paid.
There you go. Wow, I didn't know that.
I'm guessing.
So I'm arguing with him that, you know, no. What you did was way better than that.
See what I did there?
You know? Yeah. So he goes, that kind of stuff. Whatever. He must have had a little thing.
Yeah.
But he goes.
Wow.
He goes.
But I mean, that would be like me getting an award from the Pope.
Or Bill Graham.
Well, I got a lot of awards from him. I mean that. You know, I'll tell you what, after a while, I mean, the fun with Bill Graham and me never stopped. It was always amazing.
Yeah.
But I pinched myself every time I talked to him or heard from him or was with him. And some of the things that we did were unspeakable and just in a fun way.
No, he was a great man.
Let me give you a quick bill.
Great.
The first time I did the Grateful Dead in Las Vegas was because of him and Bob Barsotti, who was his general. What's above general? President. So Bill's the president, Bob's the general, right? It's the two top guys with the Dead. And I found out right after I'd just done 2 shows with Leonard Skinner and we lost money. Bill Graham was managing Leonard Skinner and we co-promoted Tucson and Vegas right between Christmas and New Year's, 1990. And both shows lost about 30, 40 grand between them, right? And Bill's my partner. So after the shows were over, I settled. Bill doesn't come to the shows, of course, because, you know, he's the manager and he's Bill Graham and he's not coming to the shows in Tucson and Vegas. Yeah. It didn't matter. So afterwards, I call him up and he goes, we'll talk about it after the holidays. I said, okay. He goes, listen, because I'm the manager, my deal with the band is I can't commission those dates because I'm promoting the show. If I was to commission them and promote and make money, it's a conflict of interest, and it would be called a double dip, right? You know, so I'm making money here, I'm making money there. So he goes, I have no money to give you back. I think they maybe made $50,000 a show, and I lost 20. Bill lost 20. He goes, tell you what, you trust me? I go, of course. He goes, I'm good for it. I said, okay. I let it go. I didn't like the loss, but I had a good year. I had good years every year. So that's why you do every show. That's why you do 300 or 400 shows a year, so you can absorb punishment when it comes around and visits you, like this.
Right.
So a couple weeks later, and that's all it was, I find out from the guy in Vegas, Pat Christensen at the Thomas and Mack Center, who also ran the Silver Bowl Stadium for the football team. Hey, I'm hearing from Barsodi about the Dead playing here this summer. I said, I'll call you right back. I call Barsodi up. I go, no, I call Bill. Bill? Hi. Danny. What's up? What's up, Danny? I go, I heard that there's some Dead news in the air. He goes, oh, Vegas. Yeah. He goes, you want in? Absolutely. The Dead have never drawn more than 5,000 people to that point, right? The last time they played there, they stiffed at the Aladdin and did about 5 out of 7,000 people. But this was, they were so miserable about it. They never came back to Vegas, and they got so much bigger throughout the 80s. It was in the late 70s. So they hadn't been there in 15 years. In the meantime, me and Jam out of Chicago, Arnie, we were working the Aladdin Hotel and making Vegas turn into a rock. It was no longer our parents' or their parents' market. It was ours because it's the king of Sin City. That's who I wanted to be. So we did shows throughout the 80s, and we created a scene in Vegas, and people, without it being popular and all over the news and all over the social media, which we didn't have, everybody's going to Vegas, and it was a great secret for all of us who were in our 20s or 30s.
Right.
And there's these great concerts here, and the parties and the after shows were as sick as you can imagine, times 10.
The heyday.
Oh, God, because it was just happening. Anyway, so Bill goes, do you have the stomach for this financially? I said, why wouldn't I? He said, what's the plan? He goes, well, it's a straight 80-20 deal. No guarantee.
Right.
However, we're in a stadium. Stadium costs are sick.
Okay.
All right. So I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. I can barely remember. It's 30 years ago. But we're charging $30 a ticket.
Wow.
And 2 shows. Santana was the only one that got a guarantee, $100,000 a night. Right? 2 nights. And the Grateful Dead. Now, I'm not in the Grateful Dead circle, right? Like they are. They run it from the Mississippi West. The first day, wait a minute. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Because I got to fill this one in. I go, Bill, I'm going to call Bob up now and tell him I'm a partner with you guys on the show. I call Bob up, and Bob and I are great friends.
Who's Bob?
Bob Barsodi was Bill's Grateful Dead guy that worked for him.
Okay.
And his brother Peter, who's now passed. But they were working on this deal for over a year. And I said, why did you work on this for over a year? All you had to do was call me. I could have put it together in 5 minutes. I do shows in that building that they run, the Thomas and Mack Center, every month.
Right.
So I said, I'll do the show with you. And Bob goes, why would we let you in for this? He goes, Danny, I love you, but the Dead's ours. I said, go talk to Bill. Really smarmy like that. I regret it because he didn't deserve that. Go talk to Bill, like a sassy guy. And he comes back. He goes, what do you got, pictures? He said, fine. That's all he said. He said, fine, and dismiss me. So first day on sale through the Grateful Dead's office. This isn't on computer. 40,000 orders came in.
Jeez. First
day.
Yeah.
This was in January or February for 2 April shows.
Amazing.
We blew the roof off the place. So Bill meets me for dinner. He goes, meet me for dinner the night before the show. It was on, I guess, a Thursday night. We did Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday. I can't remember. think Saturday, Sunday. Daytime shows, 2 in the afternoon. They ended at 7, right?
Yeah.
No, because we had openers. We had Santana. So Bill and I are having dinner in this so gangster Sahara Hotel steakhouse. Dark, pleated seats, the booth. And Bill says, did you bring any cookies with you? He fancied these pot cookies back then. Bill introduced me to edibles. And he goes, did you bring any? I said, Bill, I haven't seen you in a year. and the last time I saw him, wait a minute. No, it was December and now it's April. I go, Bill, they're gone. I said, I might have some in the freezer. He goes, I don't have any. You better have them sent up here. There was no FedEx. So they were overnighted counter to counter on plane. I had to send somebody to my house, tell them where the key was, go into my freezer, get the cookies out, and go to the Southwest or whatever it was. And they had to mail me up these these cookies that I had to pick up the next day.
Which, and there were special cookies?
Special cookies.
Special.
And there's maybe a half a dozen. And they're frozen and they're old, but they still work.
Oh, yeah.
So Bill puts me, and I ended up in the Beatles suite at the Sahara, penthouse suite, 4 bedrooms, and an outdoor patio above Vegas, one of the greatest places on earth. Sahara,
still?
Well, in 1990, it was great.
Yeah.
It was a little run down, but this was the crew hotel for our shows. And the Dead were staying at someplace nicer. But the whole crew was there, and we threw this party. So Bill comes into the room. He's dressed dapper. He's looking good for this party. And he brings in a box full of cookies. Fresh, warm cookies.
Fresh and loaded.
Somebody had flown in. Somebody had flown in specially for him for this party we were going to have after the first show, right? Yeah. So I show him my little meager off in a stupid baggie, right. And he goes, "Oh, good job, great, you got those up there. I knew I could count on you." He goes, "Where should we put these?" So there's Bill. We had maybe 150, 200 guests. Bill stood at the door for 1 hour and made sure everybody ate a cookie as they came in. That was like their admission.
Beautiful.
Within an hour, that place was smoking. It was a rock party. Wow. And we ordered 1,000 shrimps and 2 full turkeys. It was gone in moments because everybody got the munchies so bad. Anyway, Bill died the next year.
I know. Well, that day, by the way, I was playing the Bay. I was playing in Oakland, and I invited. I left 2 messages for Bill to come to the show. The rain was, you couldn't see the front hood of the car.
And he's flying a helicopter.
Yeah. Well, I never got the call back. So I said, Bill's going to love this band. He's going to love it. So I invited him.
And he loves Spanish-flavored music.
Well, Mediterranean. Was when I had Dino on Macedonian, and it was like a killer World Sinfonia. It was just a cool thing, and I know, he loved music like you love music. He's going to love for this. So then, the rain, I remember, was sheets. And after the gig, somebody came up to me and said Bill was in a helicopter crash, and I was like, "Oh, what? How bad?" That was it, and it was really devastating because I got to know him pretty well, actually.
Great guy.
And I have memories, Danny and Tim, of going to the Fillmore East as a 16, 15, 16, 17-year-old. Tremendous memories of these great shows. I was at the Allman Brothers, the Live at Fillmore East. I was at that show. I was at a lot of Dead shows.
You were at the Allmans?
Yeah, I was there at that show.
Dog.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Dog.
Okay, I was at so many great shows. All the Jefferson Airplane, all, Moby Grape, Quicksilver, all the British bands, right? I love the Fillmore. Let me tell you something. the guys that were online with everybody was a hippie, right? Complaining about the ticket price, and
What
Bill
was it,
would
$4.50?
and more than one occasion, Bill would come out on the sidewalk, Second Avenue, and he's arguing why he has to charge $350, $450, and a top ticket price $550. I have to charge them, but they were calling him a pig because he was charging so much. Because bands are coming over. Elton John is charging me $5,000. I have to charge those kind of ticket prices. And I would look at this and I go, this man does not have to do this. And he's trying to justify those super low ticket prices, which were really high to them. And of course, he had the Hells Angels right out there.
Yeah. Those people exist today, except for today they happen to be right. The ticket prices are insane.
Yeah, but not then. So not even then was that high. So
isn't it funny? I mean,
in later years after high school, and then when I became kind of known in the business or whatever,
yeah, kind of,
and I got to meet Bill. Bill put on shows. I always told him of those experiences, and I said, man.
Oh, he loved that too, didn't he?
Well, I think he did.
Oh, he did.
I told him on more than one occasion, with the impression that I had of him was like, wow. I mean, he was a tough guy, and he would fight about it,
But he was a jellyfish. He was a big old cuddly bear. He was a regular guy. He was a nice man. But boy, you don't put a Holocaust kid up against that type of accusation, because he will fight back.
Yeah.
Nobody knew back then, because Bill wasn't famous then like he infamous now in death. He's gone 30 years this year.
That's amazing.
30 years. Do you know he was only 60, Al, when he passed? I'm 10% in years older now than him then, and I still look up, and he's 90 now, somewhere over the rainbow, but he made such a mark on you, me, and so many thousands of people.
Well, I know him before.
He brought the world to us.
Right. But I will never, there's some memories you just can't ever forget, and we have tons of them. That's one. I remember he said, Elton John's charging me $5,000. I gotta charge these kind of ticket prices. You got $5,000.
But Al, think about this for a minute.
How long ago was that?
Yeah, well,
right.
that was 50 years ago. But Al, think about this.
Yeah.
When Elton John was playing for $5,000, okay, and I remember, he was doing 3 shows.
Well,
he was playing 3 nights. And one other thing, because think of it this way: what was the Fillmore? 1,000, 1,200 capacity?
No, it was about 1,200, 1,300.
Right?
I mean, wild guess.
All right, so let's average it at $450 a ticket. You got a 5G gross a night.
I know.
$15,000. So if Elton's getting 5 and it's 15, you got $10,000 to pay all the bills for 3 nights.
Right.
Catering, security, stagehands, advertising, and you get to make some at the end.
Well, the whole point was he didn't have to be out front arguing his point, but
that's what made him Bill Graham.
And he also had some Hells Angels right next to him and everything. Yeah. Angels right next to him and everything. Yeah. The headquarters was like 2 blocks over. He was a tough
guy, but
out there, man.
He wasn't stupid.
I loved it like you can't imagine, man.
I wish I only you saw the movie, the Fillmore movie, right? Did you ever watch that? I don't know where it is. You can probably find it online somewhere. There's a Fillmore movie starring Bill Graham.
Oh, maybe I did see it. Okay.
And he gets into this big argument with some guy. I'll try to find it and I'll let you know.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, I just now sent a thing before we did this today, and I didn't know Bill was going to come up, and I'm glad he did. I'm doing an auction next week, which I know you'll be interested in, and I was going to ask you for some advice and some help on it. But I'm gonna do a 501c3 kind of a thing where I'm gonna sell off some of my memorabilia, not the stuff that I love and I want to keep, but I'm not gonna. I've been hoarding thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces, autographed posters and pictures and stuff for the last 50 years, and I'm starting to let it go.
And T-shirts.
T-shirt. Oh, I'm gonna do one whole T-shirt Saturday, man. So I sent a thing off to. I haven't been able to look at my emails in a while, but I sent a thing off today. We did a thing a few years ago in San Francisco in Oakland at Oakland Stadium, where I got a few people from Journey together, and they did a national anthem, and it was Bill Graham Day at Oakland Stadium. And we called it Night on the Green instead of Day on the Green.
I remember. Oh yeah, Day on the Green. Yeah.
So I have a nice canvas of this beautiful art that one of Bill's, or Bill's dead, but one of Bill's artists created this San Francisco art about the show Bill Graham Night at the stadium, Night on the Green, and then I got a T-shirt and there's a Journey poster, and I'm going to give all the proceeds to the foundation, which we on the foundation board of Bill Graham, and Bill would love this, I think, and I know he probably did it for other people, but this foundation dispenses hundreds of thousands of dollars every year raised in his name. Nobody makes any money, and all it costs us on the board is a few hours of time, a couple of times a year, to sit and talk about who we're going to give money to. Right. And that has inspired me to sell my collection. Now, I'm a little different than them. I still have all my stuff. Bill's stuff was all sold when they sold Bill Graham Presents. Right. And Bill was gone, so Bill Graham Presents probably would have never been sold, but it was. Yeah. And my goal is I'm on my second auction. I already did one auction. I got another one next week. There's a poster of you on it, by the way, a beauty. And what I want to do is I want to, like with every auction or every other auction, or I want to do like a music scholarship for people who can write me a letter and be reasonable and explain to me in however many words or on a video or why they should get this grant. I don't know what it costs to go to Berkeley. I don't know if you think that's the right place, or if you got other ideas.
That's great school. It's a fortune, but it's a great school.
It's a fortune. What does it cost to do Berkeley for a year? Ballpark.
I last I heard it was like 60,000 range a year.
For a year?
That's probably just tuition without housing.
I don't know, but
So I'm going to work up to Berkeley.
To me, it's like, what, 60,000? I mean, when I went, it was 6,000.
So my brother Johnny went there years ago, and I don't know what it costs. Maybe that's the wrong idea. I want to give people like assistance or aid. I don't know if I can cover full boat just yet, but I'd really like to share. Number one, I want to recoup the money I've stored this stuff for the last 30 years. Yeah. Probably about $500,000. I bet I can bust that down in 3 or 4 auctions. I really want to recoup that. It's all I want. The rest of it I want to give away, and I want to help as many people as I can, not just 1 or 2 or 3.
That's great.
There needs to be a way to encourage people to play music. And then on the sports side, I want to encourage kids to never, ever be a lineman or a quarterback, only a place kicker.
There you go.
Or a punter. That's all. So I'll pay for punting school. I'll pay for place kicking. And don't be a catcher. You'll lose your knees. But run fast. Run fast and just get put in the 9th inning for running. That's all you got to do.
Right.
And you can be a pro anything you want. Anyway, that's my goal with that.
Tony Kubrick, Bobby Richardson.
And Tim, I wanted to tell you one other thing. Currently, over at the Musical Instrument Museum, still on display, are these 2 incredibly beautiful instruments that Al gave me some years back. One of them was he sent me out of nowhere. It just came. He asked me like a half a dozen times, did something come from you? For you, for me? No. Are you kidding? No. And all of a sudden, this beautiful Black Ovation acoustic guitar, Al Di Meola's signature model,
Got one right here.
shows up at my house. And then we're at, what year was that with Chick? 08?
2008.
The '08 tour, when everybody came to their senses and reformed, returned to forever that one last time.
Yeah.
One of the greatest shows, top 10 for me.
Mm.
One of the top 10 shows in my life that I've ever seen.
Thanks to me. I mean,
Yeah.
I got Chick and Stanley to talk again after many years. And
So Al had this beautiful, what guitar was it, Al?
I had was called a
Paul Reed Smith.
PRS Prism. It's actually an Al Di Meola model, you know.
And
They make
like,
a great guitar.
It's like a rainbow. It's multicolored. So he's on stage, you know, playing it like it's just another X, you know. And I'm sitting all by myself at the theater, Dodge Theater, and I'm sitting in the front row, and I watched the whole sound check, and I walked on stage when they're done. Everybody else left the stage, and Al's there, and I go, I really like that guitar. He goes, oh, you want it? He goes, I go, yeah, I'm sure. He goes, all right. And that was the end of it. And of course, he didn't hand it to me. He had to play it. And it showed up. It showed up.
Al, that's amazing.
It just showed up. No notes, no nothing. I call him up and go, oh. It was a McCartney moment.
It's a collector's item because they don't make it anymore. So,
how many did they make of those?
I don't know, but you know they.
I've never seen another one.
Yeah, there's now a collector's item, so it's it's only on special order they'll make them. So
you remember a minute ago when I said there were certain items that I could never part with?
Right.
That's one of them.
I don't part with that one until I learn how to play it as good as you, which is never. So there you go.
Danny, let me ask you, going back to Bill,
do
you remember who was one of the instrumental guys in the Fillmore East with Bill in New York?
I know a lot of their names.
No, I know who it is. I just want to see if you know.
Patrick.
You want me to tell you?
Patrick Stansfield.
Have you ever? Does this
give me the name.
A bell? John Morris.
Wasn't he a Woodstock guy?
He was with Michael, but he was also the guy that
Stump the band.
He's the guy who said, "Get off the towers! Get off the towers!"
Right.
Oh, that's the guy. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's John. Well, John was my manager for me.
The pink and blue acid is not necessarily good.
I live in Old Japan, right? And he had this old stone house that Barishnikov bought.
I didn't know them.
Yeah, he's been over my house. He goes, I like the old houses better. Anyway, I didn't realize how involved he was with the Fillmore East. He was the guy, him and Bill.
Wow.
John Morris. And he owned, this will blow you away, he owned and operated the Rainbow Theatre in London.
No kidding.
Do you know that the Rainbow was like the Fillmore?
I've been there one time.
Right, I played there one time, and I think after 76.
What a shithole!
Yeah, but everybody played.
But everybody played there. It was like Wembley Arena.
No,
toilet!
It was like the Fillmore East.
I understand, but these venues, Madison Square Gardens, before they uplifted it. What a piece of shit!
Yeah,
but it's in the middle of Manhattan.
Yeah, but the history,
and it's MSG.
But the history.
The history.
I had a rainbow T-shirt.
It's okay. Fuck the history. Let's knock it down and put up a piece of shit that's good for people that can afford to pay $300,000 a year.
Right.
The morals and the values today. Al, we should be president. We would fix it. Free school, free medicine, free music. Let's rock.
Well, it is free music now. I mean,
not
anybody
for long.
Put a CD and they go, it's all free.
Although Al, this will make you happy to hear. My kids, 20-year-old son, 17-year-old girl, they buy vinyl. They love vinyl.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good to hear. We
It,
still don't know if we're actually getting the royalty, but that's good to hear.
yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because
Have
we
you,
grew up in the best era, man. It
did
was
you do
Yeah.
that Al D 70s 80s vinyl box set yet?
no.
What are they waiting for? Do that to correlate with the documentary.
That's
Yeah.
smart. That's a great idea.
You should have a box set. I think you sign them, number them, inscribe them. I
I think
think
they
you.
had a three LP set of Landing in Midnight Sun, Elegant Gypsy Casino. I think they had that. I don't. That was years ago.
Yeah, it was years
Uh,
ago, but now vinyl's had a rebound. You could do that same set and maybe add one or two more because you have more you have more records than that. But there's a couple more in that time frame
35
that
different solo albums.
I understand.
Amazing.
But so I would do something brand new. I would do the Beatles and I would do those classics, the
Oh,
ones,
you
the
know
big
what's
ones.
coming out in September is the Saturday night in San Francisco. So Friday night was sold
Is that with the three of you guys?
Friday night sold 7 million records. Can you imagine, of an acoustic record? And I
That's
had these
amazing.
tapes of Saturday night in my tape vault, part of my studio, and they've been there for 40 years, right? So I had the tapes
Are they still good?
professionally baked to see if the quality's there. I went ahead, I mixed it, and I had it mastered, and now it's coming out in September, and they're all different songs.
That's
And
going to be great.
And you
And
know
our
who introduces the three of us?
Bill.
And it's
That
on the record. That's how it
nice.
starts.
Well,
Nice.
we need to use this interview and this little podcast. We'll give it to you once we clean it up and make it perfect. You can use this to promote the album.
Beautiful.
Nobody knows Al D like me.
That
Al,
was
are you?
one of the conference calls I had too with the record company about the record. You know, nice. I think what happened was we got into, this is a funny story. We got into you know, editing it because everything was too long and I had to make the sides fit. And we A-B'd it against Friday. It was, exactly the same acoustics, same mics, the same truck outside, everything the same. But as time went on, we did less and less A-Bing. We just tried to make Saturday night sound phenomenal. It sounds so phenomenal. It doesn't sound like Friday night. So we have to have it sound exactly because it was the same theater, it was the same everything. So now we have to go back.
Was it the Warfield?
Huh?
Warfield?
Yeah, Warfield. Yeah.
Where did I pull that from?
Huh?
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it was very.
I was just being Paul McCartney there.
I think it was really well done because they had really good ambient mics in the audience, so you really feel the energy of the audience, as opposed to just miking the instruments and then,
Al, are you going to press that to vinyl?
Yeah. Oh, vinyl.
We have to.
Vinyl. How about 33 and 45 and 5.1?
Yes.
Al.
It's a high-end audio label affiliated with Sony. It's called Impex.
So Al, how about this? I'm sorry to interrupt you because I saw something coming.
SACD and regular CD.
I think this the boxed here's how you do the boxed vinyl set. Okay, let's find the record maker, right, and let's figure out the cost per unit. And when I mean unit, I don't mean each record. I mean the whole unit with a beautiful, like maybe a wooden box thing or something amazing. How much does each of those? How much does each? I will. How much does each of these cost to make, and in what quantity do you get the breaks? Right. And for the ultimate Al D music fan, which we could also include some of those copies of some of those beautiful charts.
Right.
Right. Unbelievable. For the people that love fantastic music and your music, think of if we could do like a 3 or 4 month pre-order. So we get the orders and we know how many to make.
That's true.
And then you round it off to the top end so you have some extras. You got to think of how many people do you want to give some to. And so maybe you do a run of 1,000.
Well, if you put this idea, put it down in words so then I could share it with Stephanie because it's a great idea.
Okay. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. Tim, were you aware that we were doing home events?
No.
Oh, tell him about it. He doesn't know anything about it.
This will blow your mind.
They did. Al did, and let me
I
just
did
set. Let
something that no
me
one
set this up.
business has done. Not any musician.
These guys automatically reacted in March, April. Automatically. When was your first gig?
No, no. It happened in the summer. So
Yeah.
the summer, we couldn't do anything. March, April was too scary, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
summer comes along, everybody's outside on the deck. You know, a couple of friends would come over, nothing more, right? So I had a high school friend come over, my buddy, and his wife, and I said to Steph, you know, Steph's a phenomenal cook, like a gourmet. So I said, Steph, let me. I got a couple of dishes, Italian dishes that will blow them away. Let me cook. She goes, really? You want to? I said, yeah. Let me. I had a couple of drinks. I'm feeling great. You know, beautiful day. You know, the whole thing. August. This is in August. So as I'm doing it, you know, I got all the stuff prepared. You know, I'm making a gavatelli with broccoli rabe, you know, with pignoli and diced
Any
mozzarella,
gabagool?
like killer. I'll slice the Sicilian olives,
Can't help
a
it.
whole number of, you know. So, Steph, you know what? Go live stream right now. She goes, what? You really? I said, yeah, go live stream. Let them watch me make this. So, comments coming in from every country you can possibly imagine.
Oh, that's so great.
Like left and right. Like, so, and some of them was saying, you know, how can we try this? I said, look, and if anybody wants to come here, I'll do it in front of you. You know, it'll be very expensive, but I'll do it right in front of you. So I was only kidding. I'm totally kidding.
You were not.
I was totally kidding. And then after, I'm reading all the comments, and a lot of people ask, how much? And I'm going, hey, Steph, you know what? You might be onto something with this. After that, after them watching me cook it and having dinner with me, right, and us,
House
we go down in
concert.
the studio. I give a private show. I can invite them to jam, you know, give a lesson. So all of a sudden, like within a month, we got 10 bookings in the first month.
How much, Al?
Would you believe, you know, we didn't get
I do.
I needed a low package. We had 3 packages. We got no low package. We got all middle, but mostly upper. And the upper included, they get a guitar.
All right. So on the three packages, I just want to make sure people know. Start with the lowest package.
The lowest.
What did you get for the lowest?
Was $7,500, but you don't get the concert. You just have the dinner.
$7,500. How many people? 2?
No more than 2.
So me and a date come to your house in Jersey.
Yeah, and half the time was only one guy came. So
and it was and you would cook for him, hang out, serve him drinks.
Appetizers laid out, every kind of.
So it's like what, 2-3 hours?
Very upscale. Like Stephanie would do a number like you can't imagine. The place was like, forget it. But what's cool about it, it was in the house, and it's like your house, Danny. It's like a museum. You go in there, it's a museum of your life. So it's really cool for fans, right? So then they, after the appetizers and all, about 500 stories, and I can't stop talking, like, you know, one after
never.
So awesome.
Well, they get you going. It's like, and you already got them in the palm of your hand, like they love you, right? So then I cook. They watch me cook the first course.
Piece of work,
right? And then we sit down and have the first. We sit at a nice table, and they have little name cards in their space.
Any wine?
A lot of wine. You know, champagne before. You know, champagne after. And we got all the Italian dessert. You know, the cannolis, the suigadelle, everything.
Don't forget the cannoli.
But after the pasta dish, Steph makes, you know, these amazing veal chops or a steak. You know, so what, everybody's like totally full. You know, then the desserts come out, and it's like, you know, all top notch. And then we go down in the studio, and she has a bar set up, you know, of all these great whiskeys and everything set up in all my guitar cases.
Brilliant.
You know, and all my guitars are out and everything on stands and everything. And then I get to do a little show, you know. And it proved to be a really cool thing. So we're hoping to do it again. Actually.
But Al, for the $7,500 people,
yeah,
no show. but no show. Hi, honey.
Hi. Oh, there you are.
So
Hi, chef.
What was the lowest package?
Well, nobody ever booked that. It's like, it's psychology. We have 3 packages, and they all want the middle or the most. Actually, all they want the most expensive package.
So what was the middle one? The middle one included a show, and the top one included a guitar.
So the middle one is
dinner show, but no guitar.
Yes, and then so that was 9,500, and then the highest one they get. They can pick between an acoustic or a PRS.
Electric.
The actual Prism guitar.
I would have gone for Prism.
You know, and I mean, people who can spend $10,000 on a dinner also can spend 16,500 on it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hey,
that's
you know
so
what?
Smart.
I'll tell you what. A lot of people out there have done really, really great with their lives and their careers and earnings and so forth. And here's a line that I use every day. Money they got, things to spend on it they don't.
Yeah.
Look,
And I mean, there's people, so many people in this world, in this country, that have earned what would be crazy amounts of money by comparison to 10 or 20, 30 years ago. And the fact is, like, why be embarrassed about it? Spend it. Enjoy it. Use it. Get an LD guitar. It's yours. He'll even sign it for you for another grand.
They get a lesson with it. They can play all the other guitars. It's like a win. They love it. We had 10 people and like top-notch people, CEOs, presidents of whatever. 2 out of the 10 came with their private jet.
Yeah, they asked, where do we park our jet?
In your front yard.
Yes.
Holy shit.
You know,
that
and
is the
they
best.
loved it. Because it's so unique.
So did you guys COVID test them ahead of time?
We didn't test them, but we got tested regularly, and we had kind of time in between.
We really tried to social distance.
We did.
As best as
It's so smart.
Yeah, but for 16.5, you're getting a hug.
Yeah.
Danny.
Sorry.
It never stops with you. It never stops.
I had a sign on the door, no French kissing at all.
There you go. Well, then Danny wouldn't be there.
Yeah, but you should say, forget it. Anyway. Steph, when we're done with this, the 3 of us got to have a little chat about some new money-making opportunities with those charts, man.
Yeah, I know.
I'll tell you what, Al, you got to put Romantic Warrior in the box set, personally signed.
Yeah.
On a beautiful parchment paper.
It's on parch.
Right? Well, but that's the real ones.
It's the real ones.
The new ones have to look exactly like that. You know, you can even buy parchment paper from that year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no kidding.
Make it. Oh yeah.
Make it official. Yeah.
It's there.
Aged.
You can make it completely authentic. I'll tell you later.
Really?
I didn't.
Yeah.
That.
Dude, you can get paper from any year you want. Do you know that, Tim?
I don't know how they.
I did not know that. No, until this moment, I did not.
You can fake anybody out.
That's amazing.
You've
done this before.
No, but I know.
These were
that's great.
Now.
Look at those things he has.
Like my scores.
It's amazing.
It's
professionally do it.
Amazing.
Thank you for allowing me to fast.
Did you have dinner tonight?
I haven't eaten anything all day.
You haven't either?
I had like 3 conference calls before this, starting at like 4 o'clock. I'm like, this is now.
Hey, Al.
10.
Al,
we're gonna let you eat.
Work keeps us in shape.
Yeah. Oh, not only running 3 miles a day.
I mean, I'm going like one of those protein shakes, and then I have a little something. I had half a turkey sandwich this afternoon, and I'm going to go home and have a couple of. I'll have a steak taco. Okay. And that's it. Have you guys noticed on TV they're running faithfully reruns of The Tonight Show?
Oh, I love those. Oh.
Of Johnny Carson. Fuck the rest of these assholes.
Yeah.
It's the fun. But they're brilliant. Right. Every night they run 1 or 2 or 3 episodes, and they do them on the same day as today, from 40 years ago.
So it'll be a Monday.
Genius.
How do we see
So
it?
so last night it was 1982, February 15th or whatever.
How do we tune it in? How?
Yeah,
Look
what
on
channel is
your
it on?
look. I'm not sure. Look on your. Just do a search on your TV guide.
Okay.
I've been
Is it the same time? 11 o'clock, 11:30.
I'm not sure. Just I don't know when it runs
Well,
there.
New York,
But it's on
at
just
11:30.
put it on your permanent
Oh,
record.
11.
I have 50 of them on my queued up, and I've watched every one of them at least once. The Burt Reynolds, the Dom DeLuise, the Bob Hope.
The best.
How about when Arnold Palmer's wife was on?
Oh, kiss my balls. Yes,
He
yes.
goes, "What do you do when when Arnold
For
gets
luck.
off a golf match? What do you do for wishing him luck?"
I lick his
kiss
balls.
And
Right.
I mean, America stopped.
Yeah, listen.
Let
Let me tell you something. Johnny Carson. If Johnny Carson was still around, America would be different because we're still going through this very strange straight period now where adults aren't allowed to talk like adults,
right?
As opposed to somebody's going to get offended.
We live in a cancel culture. I personally am not offended, but unfortunately, the world is so too sensitive.
It's really
the world
strange.
is overly sensitive right now.
You know, Tim, it's really strange. My friends who are gay, or I don't know what else I can call them, homosexual.
You can say gay.
They love the rap. They are real. It's like when a jerk off that looks like Archie Bunker says something. Yeah, fag. That's offensive.
Yeah,
when I'm talking to you guys, it's like, who cares? It's like me calling Al, Four Eyes.
Right.
Don't say that. Al might get offended.
Al could get, all the glasses people in the world are going to not watch this show.
Hang on, listen, Danny. I'm completely offended. Sorry.
Oh, hi, Four Eyes. Wait a minute.
I think it's a hey now moment. I wish Danny wasn't so blurry. We're trying to fix his Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
There you go. I think those are good-looking glasses. I can't tell because you're blurry.
Right.
But
so look at this. Is it that blurry?
Yeah. Oh, it's blurry. Yeah.
You can't see those?
Yeah, I can see it. No, for me, it's slightly blurry.
All right. One of the greatest
in fact,
promo
without
tools.
My glasses, it's really blurry.
Hey, in this one, Al, you're the best one we've had so far.
Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
For sure.
Beautiful.
But I want to tell you about these glasses before we go.
Okay.
I need reading glasses, right? I got these. These are a promotional item from the Triple Creek Ranch in Montana that I went to in June. At every like a stop where there's where you check in for the restaurant or you check in to check in, right? They have a basket full of 3 different strengths of cheap-ass plastic glasses, readers. So you can look at the menu or look at the terms when you're signing in. This guy is a genius. Of course, he started Intel that owns this ranch, right? He owns 40,000 acres.
Whoa.
Oh, my
40 square miles in Montana.
That's crazy.
And he's got this beautiful resort. You guys got to go to. Al, we're going in June. You should meet us there. I want to take over the resort for a week with all my friends. It's very expensive, but it's so unbelievable.
Yeah,
we do cattle drives.
When your knee mends, are you ever at any point going to try skiing? No, right? No risk.
I think that would be testing it.
Yeah, it's risky. Yeah.
I think that's too risky.
Yeah.
Now, could we get the couple pairs of twins? Hey now.
Hey now.
Can we do something a little less risky? Well, that might be more risky. Maybe we could try something else. I don't know if I'm ever going to ski. I don't really. Skiing speed things that I can't completely control.
Yeah,
they're not safe.
Get that.
So Al, this has been phenomenal. I'm sure.
Amazing.
Are you guys going to go eat?
No, she made something, and I wrote a lot of new music, so I'm practicing it a lot because I have.
Why don't you hit record and send me some new shit?
I have 3 gigs at the end of March in Florida. We
great.
Privates?
We postponed the whole Northeast because of all the stuff that's happening, bad weather, COVID. But 3 in Florida insist on doing it. It's outside. One in Delray Beach. One in Largo. The first one in Largo. It's going to be kind of a Beatle thing, part of a Beatles thing. And then one in I think St. Augustine.
Nice.
And I'm going to do it solo.
That's great.
Well,
that's awesome.
You know what? I feel like I lost a lot of momentum, so I'm like, wow, this is.
Do you know what, Al? You can look at it that way, but here's how I would look at it.
How?
When it comes back and we're able to do shows, everybody's equal.
Yeah.
It's an even playing field.
Right.
So what you should be doing right now is saying, all right, let's be reasonable. It's February 18th.
Yeah.
March. Okay. End of March, everybody our age should have the COVID vaccine. That's our audience, pretty much.
True.
Mostly.
Sure.
You should start being able to do shows in May, June.
Right. I do have something planned, but it's on the edge of the seat kind of thing.
So, bottom line, I think everything's coming back no later than Labor Day. But there's this summer to contend with.
Well,
and you
Barry
don't have
Marshall sent me something. He said there would be nothing this year nothing till next year.
Well, Barry's a pussy.
I don't
Sorry.
I don't know why he said that, but it sounds.
Well, for something
Europe
on
is
this,
not doing as good as us at the moment.
for something on the scale of Paul McCartney and the type of group, Cher, Pink, whatever he deals with, you're talking about 300 people on the road.
Wow.
That's different than Al D, who's got a band of 5 and 3 crew guys.
Yeah.
Right.
You're going to be able to go out way before Paul.
I mean, his people are.
And what if Paul can't sing?
Yeah.
He's fucking 80. Whatever he is.
He's 80. Well, he's about pushing 80.
Almost.
Yeah. But his voice,
He had a nice run.
Wow.
He did.
Amazing.
He did.
Amazing.
Well, Al, thank you so much for the time today. You're amazing, and we're going to let you have dinner.
Thank you.
Because you've earned it.
All right.
Al, if you wanna talk about these other little items after dinner, give me a call.
I really do.
All right. Well, I'm up for a little bit. I'm pumped. This is like we just did a show.
I know.
It is.
I'd rather be with you though.
I know.
Well, it was great spending. It was good. It's great spending the time with you two beautiful gentlemen. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. I hope you got all that. I mean, don't tell me tomorrow that you didn't record it.
It's all recorded.
That would really bum me out.
That would be a bummer. Yeah, but
you know what? We get over it. We'd have to just do it again.
Let's do it again anyway. But we have it for sure. Hey now.
Anytime.
Al, you gonna call me back? Call me a little bit. I'm gonna go home and have dinner right now.
You got it.
Tim, stay on. Bye, Al.
Bye-bye.
Bye.